Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the baseball field here at Stoughton High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call as we dive right into action in the MIAA tournament. We're in the quarterfinal round of the Division II South bracket for baseball. The Milford Scarlet Hawks, the number 13 seed on the road today, taking on the number 5 seeded Stoughton Black Knights. And already into action as we get started right at the stroke of 4 o'clock here on this Monday afternoon. Milford off of an upset win against the 4 seed in the bracket. Stoughton a win against Greater New Bedford in their first round matchup. So we have this battle of division rivals within the Hockomock League here in the playoff tournament. And Matt Shaver looking to get it started against the starting pitcher for the Stoughton Black Knights, James Jennist. Right now, Shaver a ground ball back up the middle. And a nice rangy play by the second baseman, George Courier, towards the second base bag. And able to throw Shaver out for out number 1. A quick look at the starting lineup for the Scarlet Hawks. Matt Shaver leading it off at short. Carter Scudo, the left fielder, bats second. Colby Perez, the starting pitcher, bats third, with Danny Corsini, the cleanup hitter, playing third base. The catcher, Tyler Almeida, bats fifth, with Nicholas Womet, the first baseman, batting sixth. Luke Rosa bats seventh and plays right field, with Nick Marcolini, the center fielder, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the second baseman, Justin Appleby, doing their work against the left-hander for the Black Knights, James Jennist. This is the third time these two teams have met in 2019, as Carter Scudo now takes a pitch high, able to hold up on the swing. So a quick 2-ball, no-strike count. Good chatter out of both dugouts as this game gets started. And the next pitch in from Jennist, and that is going to miss for ball 3. Stoughton took the Davenport Division crown in the regular season. 12 wins in the regular season for the Knights. With Carter Scudo taking all the way, he takes a called strike. Milford in their road red jerseys, Stoughton in their home orange and white look. And a 3-1 pitch, and it's a line drive hit out to center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. A turnaround first base from Scudo, but he will retreat to the bag with a 1-out single. Milford's first base runner of the day. And that will bring up Colby Perez. Perez now digging in on the right side against his counterpart. Carter Scudo immediately takes off as the pitch is fouled away over the backstop and out of play. And so Scudo will retreat. Two very different ball games played out for these two teams in their first round playoff matchups. Milford, again, going on the road down to Easton to take on Southeastern Regional Voc-Tech, a team that Milford is not very familiar with, as now Perez sends a fly ball down the right field line, and that is just foul. Out of the reach of both the first baseman, Brady Conlon, and the right fielder, Jacob Kaplan, but that drops just to the right side of that chalk line. And 2 strikes now on Colby Perez. But Milford going into that matchup as an underdog, and they came out with their highest run total of the season, a 13-3 blowout for Milford in that first round game against Southeastern, earning this trip to Stoughton. They didn't actually know where they were headed after that game. Milford played their first round matchup on Thursday of last week. Stoughton didn't play their game until Saturday. So Milford a little bit more rest in between games. Ultimately, Stoughton taking on Greater New Bedford Voc-Tech on Saturday morning in what was a pitcher's duel from beginning to end. More on that in a moment. First, the next pitch into Perez, and it's a line drive hit to second base, caught, and the throw into second base is there in time. Scudo getting caught too far off the bag, and it ends up going as a 4-3 inning-ending double play. So a base runner for Milford in this inning, but they cannot do anything with it. And after half an inning of play, we are scoreless. Stoughton will take their first swings when we come back right after this here on Milford TV. Bottom of the first inning now getting started here in Stoughton. The Scarlet Hawks starter Colby Perez facing George Courier, Zach Paquette, and Robbie Seaman, the top 3 hitters in this Stoughton lineup, and a quick 2 pitches out of the zone for Perez. Colby had very good numbers in the regular season. And now a fly ball off the bat of Courier out to center field, but room for Nick Marcolini, who makes the catch. Full starting lineup for the Stoughton Black Knights. George Courier leads it off at second base. Zach Paquette bats second and plays third. Robbie Seaman, the shortstop, in the 3 spot, with James Jennis, the starting pitcher, batting cleanup. Michael Nazaro catches and bats fifth, with Jan Swarzewski, the center fielder, batting sixth. Jacob Kaplan plays right field and bats seventh. The designated hitter Johnson batting eighth, and Brady Conlon, the first baseman, bats ninth. Paquette up there now. Righty versus righty matchup as Perez pours in a strike. Quick 0-2 count on the right-handed batting Zach Paquette, who got the nod on the pitcher's mound for Stoughton's first playoff game. Hits a ground ball to second base here. Low throw from Appleby, but handled by Nicholas Ouimet over at first base, and it's 2 up and 2 down here in the Stoughton first. So just to finish up the point about the contrast in styles in the first 2 playoff games for each of these teams, we mentioned the blowout for Milford. Stoughton ended up grabbing a run against Greater New Bedford in the 3rd inning of their matchup, and they made that 1-0 lead hold up just barely. It was a 1-0 game into the 7th inning. Greater New Bedford ended up loading the bases with 2 outs in the inning, but their runner at third base getting caught in a rundown and eventually got tagged out for the final out of the game. And meanwhile, the final out of the inning is a fly ball to center field off the bat of Robbie Seaman, and a great start for Colby Perez as he sets down the side in order 1, 2, 3, and just like that, the first inning comes to an end in this quarterfinal matchup in the MIAA playoff tournament, scoreless between the Scarlet Hawks and the Stoughton Black Knights here on Milford TV. A quick first inning on both sides, so we move right on to inning number 2 here on our playoff coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV, and Danny Corsini with a swing and a miss to open the first at bat here in the top of the second. James Jenist allowed a hit in the first, but that hit was quickly erased on an inning-ending double play. Corsini now down in the count, 0-2. Picked up a complete game victory against Southeastern on the mound last Thursday, now in as the starting third baseman. Scattered 3 runs in that 7-inning effort, so once again setting the tone for this Milford pitching staff. Now trying to get this second inning off to a good start at the plate. Able to lay off that outside pitch. Pleasant conditions here as this game gets started. And a good amount of fans continuing to form. A lot of Milford fans lined up down the first base line down towards the right field line, with the Stoughton fans collected mostly behind home plate, wrapping around towards the third base dugout. Milford occupying the first base dugout, Stoughton the third. Danny Corsini, meanwhile, trying to hang tough. Here's the next pitch, and that drops in just low. A tough pitch at the knees, very tough take for Corsini. Perhaps fortunate to still be standing there. Next pitch from Jenist, and it's a line drive hit towards second and snagged by Courier, who's had a busy start to this game defensively. Able to snag that line drive for out number 1. Defensively for Stoughton, it is Michael Nazaro behind the plate, Zach Paquette at third, Robbie Seaman at short, George Courier at second, and Brady Conlon at first. Left to right in the outfield, Kyle Gagnon, Sion Swarzewski, and Jacob Kaplan. Kyle Gagnon, the left fielder, flexed out of the lineup, only playing defensively, as Stoughton plays with both the pitcher and the DH in the lineup. Here's Tyler Almeida now. He takes a first pitch strike. 1 down and the base is empty in the top half of the second. Tyler Almeida really picked it up in the second half of the season. We talked about it quite a bit, had quite a few opportunities to see this Milford team play this season here on Milford TV. But the number's good overall on the season offensively for Almeida. Ended the season batting .358. 24 hits and 67 at-bats. That included 3 doubles, 2 triples, and 17 runs batted in. Tied for second on the team in RBI with Justin Appleby, and 1 behind Matt Shaver for the team lead. Here's the next pitch, and it's a chopper on the ground past the pitcher's mound. Another chance for Courier. Scoops and throws, has plenty of time to get him. Milford continuing to test George Courier at second base, and he's been up to the challenge. 2 up and 2 down in the second inning, and that leaves it up to Nicholas Ouimet. Left-handed swinging first baseman. A .259 batting average in the regular season, 14 hits and 54 at-bats. I should say these numbers also reflect Milford's first playoff victory as well, so not just regular season numbers, but season totals. Ouimet with 5 runs batted in. He did walk 11 times on the season, so showed good plate discipline, but right now, Genest pouring in the strikes. He's already ahead of Ouimet, 0-2, looking for a quick 1-2-3 top half of the second inning. Lefty back into the windup. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's fought off out into center field. In at first was Swarzewski, now back, and he's able to make the catch. And just like that, the second inning comes to an end. Impressive work for James Genest. And we move right on to the home half of inning number 2 on this coverage of Milford High School athletics in the MIAA playoffs right here on Milford TV. The Stoughton dugout roars as this bottom of the second inning gets started. Colby Perez facing his counterpart, James Genest, and he takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Batters 4, 5, and 6 due up for Stoughton. The 1-0 pitch now, and a vicious cut from Genest, and he's late on it to even the count at 1-1. We had a chance to watch these two teams play earlier in the regular season. In what was a close ball game, Milford was able to edge out Stoughton by a final score of 3-2. Genest was in that game offensively and in the field, played first base in that game. Brady Conlon getting the start. And Genest facing Danny Corsini for the majority of that game. Ended up going 1 for 3, had a hit and a walk. And now sends a ground ball through the left side of the infield, just past the reach of Matt Shaver, and then misplayed out in left field by Carter Scudo, and that's going to allow Genest to move up to second base. So a single for Genest, and then an error, just a lack of concentration out there by Carter Scudo, allows Genest to immediately get up into scoring position, and an early chance now for the Black Knights with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Now Michael Nazaro at the plate. And he takes the first pitch for strike 1. Stoughton bench can sense the early opportunity as now Nazaro sends a fly ball out to left field. Another chance for Scudo. He's able to make the catch. And Genest has to hold at second base with now 1 down. Kian Swarzewski now at the plate. And time granted. It has been a dry stretch in the area of late, and a lot of dust being kicked up here around the field as this game gets going. There is a bit of a breeze as this pitch comes down and in on Swarzewski, gets him on the foot, and that will send him down to first base. So runners at first and second now with 1 down for the Knights as their right fielder Jacob Kaplan stands in. Pires a look down to second base, now fires in the pitch, and it's low and outside. Pires a quick and easy first inning, but already now a hit and a hit batter allowed in the second frame. Pumps in a fastball for a called strike. That will even the count. A ball and a strike, one out, and two runners aboard. The windup and the pitch, and that is low for ball two. Colby Pires making his 9th appearance on the pitcher's mound this year. All of them have been starts. Came into today with a record of 4-2 and an ERA at 2.40. As now Kaplan shows bunt and sprays it foul off towards the first base dugout. And that evens the count at 2-2, trying to catch the Milford corner infielders napping, but couldn't keep that in fair territory. Pires to the set, and the 2-2 pitch. A dribbler hit down the third base line, scooped up by Corsini, and he has nowhere to put it. Now sends a throw into third base, but Genest was safe at the bag. Tough to tell from our position if that ball was going to continue to roll foul. As it approached the third base bag, Corsini made the judgment call to pick it up. By the point in which he picked up the baseball, he had no chance to get the runner at first. And ended up trying to catch Genest rounding that third base bag, but it did not work. And now a bases loaded opportunity for the Black Knights. So I think that'll go in the books as a fielder's choice for Kaplan. No out recorded on the play. The bases loaded, and now Noah Johnson, the designated hitter, stands in. A golden opportunity here for the Knights. Offense was at a premium for Stoughton on Saturday morning. But an opportunity to break through here, and a swing and a miss from Johnson. Good fastball from Pires. Stoughton scored 105 runs through the regular season. And as a pitching staff allowed 78, Milford, meanwhile, 124 runs scored in the regular season, 95 runs allowed. Very similar teams, just a couple of wins separated these two teams in the regular season. Stoughton finishing the year at 12-8, Milford at 10-10. And an enthusiastic grab of that foul ball sent off towards the backstop from the Stoughton bench. As it is a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Pires looking for a strikeout. Instead gets a pop-up right at the edge of the third base line. Pires read it well all the way, able to make the catch. Bright skies overhead, but Pires, a good job of keeping track. And a key second out of the inning as Johnson pops out on the infield. No chance, of course, for the runners to advance. And now an opportunity perhaps for Pires to dance out of this inning, but first he has to deal with the number 9 hitter, Brady Conlon. Still a Stoughton runner at every base. And the first pitch outside and low, and a very nice job by Tyler Almeida to slide out to keep that ball in front of him. Almeida catching virtually every inning of this 2019 season for Milford. No doubt a bit banged up from it, but still playing well, fielding his position well. Now 1-ball, 1-strike count on Brady Conlon. And now takes that pitch just high. A 2-ball, 1-strike count, nowhere to put Conlon. He went hitless in 3 at-bats against Milford pitching in their game at Milford High School back on April 29th. Now a big swing and a miss. Late movement on the pitch from Pires, and now a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. And a night runner leading away at each base. The next pitch is swung on and missed. And so Stoughton loads the bases with only 1 out in the inning, but Perez able to pitch his way out of it. A pop-up and then a strikeout shuts down the potential Stoughton rally. Done with 2 innings now here from Stoughton High School. It is scoreless between the Knights and the Scarlet Hawks here on Milford TV. Impressive work by Colby Perez to avoid disaster in that second inning. A bases loaded 1 out jam, but inducing a pop-up on the infield and then getting a strikeout of the number 9 hitter, Brady Conlon, to end the rally. And now Luke Rosa starts us off in the top half of the third. Rosa followed by Marcolini and Appleby, the bottom third of the order.
Oh my God!
Now the pitch misses up top. Jeunesse to the set, now the pitch. And that is low. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count on the first Milford batter of the third inning. Milford hoping that they can turn momentum here as Stoughton was unable to cash in on that rally. A called strike meanwhile poured into Rosa, fills up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch, and that is low for ball 4. So Milford gets their second base runner of the game. It's the first walk allowed by James Genest. And a runner on ahead of Nick Marcolini. Marcolini turned it back on to end the regular season. Batting average back up over the 300 mark, shows bunt on the first pitch. .306 mark for Marcolini, 19 hits in 62 at-bats. Shows bunt again, pulls the bat back, but this time takes a strike. A 1-ball, 1-strike count on Marcolini. And now a check over at first base has Rosa diving back to the first base bag. A lot of lefties in this lineup for Milford. So Genest making life tough. A lot of lefty-lefty battles. A lefty at the dish right now in Marcolini. And pops the bunt up, out towards second base. And it ends up drifting off towards the second baseman, makes the throw to second. And everyone is safe, and what a bizarre play. A terrible bunt from Marcolini as he popped it up towards the pitcher's mound, but was able to get it past James Genest. And then no chance to get Marcolini at first. A nice effort by George Courier to try to save the play by fielding that ball and sending a quick throw to second, but did not get it there in time. It pulled the shortstop off the bag, so not pretty, but effective for Marcolini as he puts down the bunt, pushes Rosa into scoring position, and reaches himself as a bonus. And now an opportunity for the red-hot hitting Justin Appleby. The first pitch in for a strike. So that will go in the books as a bunt single for Marcolini. 2 on, nobody out. Justin Appleby finishing the regular season with one of the top batting averages in the Hockomock League. Now he shows bunt, drops down a good one towards the pitcher. Genest has one play, it's to first. And the throw is not going to be there in time. Genest doing everything he could do. He pounced on that ball, sent a good throw to first, but just too much speed from Appleby. And Milford playing some small ball here in the first inning, and now all of a sudden it's the Scarlet Hawks with a bases loaded chance. The bottom three in the order getting it done. Bases loaded, nobody out for the leading RBI man on the team, Matt Shaver. Shaver takes the first pitch high for ball one. Now the first base dugout fully engaged. The Milford fans who've made the trip out anticipating a rally. The 1-0 pitch now from Genest is driven in the air out to center field. Sends Rzuski over. He makes the catch. Tagging at third base is Rosa. He will have no problem coming in to score. And Marcolini able to advance to third base. It's a sacrifice fly for Matt Shaver. And that puts the first run on the board in this quarterfinal matchup. Milford takes a 1-0 lead. Shaver gets credit for the RBI. And a heads-up play for Marcolini using his speed to get to third. So now it's runners at the corners as Carter Scudo comes to the plate. And Scudo takes a good live fastball for a called strike one. It's been an up and down game already for Scudo. Grabbed a base hit in the first inning, but then got caught too far off the first base bag, ended up getting doubled off to end the inning. As now the runner takes off early towards second base, but Stoughton being cautious with that runner at third. And Appleby able to get back to the first base bag, so Appleby just taking off while Genest had not even gone in to the set position. But safe back at first, now bounces back out to a lead. As Scudo takes a pitch on the outside edge for a called strike two. Did not like the call. Now the 0-2 pitch as Appleby takes off again. The pitch is popped up in foul ground behind first base. Now Appleby races back to the bag as the first baseman Brady Conlon makes the catch. And there are two outs. So Scudo now 1 for 2 on the day, and that leaves the inning up to Perez. Milford would love to tack another run on before this inning comes to an end. They had the bases full with no outs. Perez takes the first pitch up and away for ball one. Perez was the one who lined into that inning-ending double play in the first. In Scudo's defense, a hard shot off the bat of Perez. Scudo getting his secondary lead, did not have much time to react to get back to first. As Perez takes another borderline strike, this one at the bottom of the zone. The runner takes off from first, the pitch high. Nazaro bluffs the throw to second, instead fires to third. Marcolini safe at third base as Appleby is able to get himself into scoring position with the steal. And Nazaro displaying a very good throwing arm behind the plate the first time we saw him play. And Perez now takes a called strike at the top of the zone, and it is a full count. A hit could possibly produce 2 runs for the Hawks. Here's the payoff, and it is swung on and missed. So Genest able to limit the damage in the frame. The lone run coming on the Matt Shaver sacrifice fly. So we will head on now to the bottom half of inning number 3, where it is now Milford 1 and Stoughton 0 here on playoff coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Milford able to get just a single run out of their bases loaded opportunity, so neither team really able to maximize through these early chances. And now a line shot down the left field line. That is a fair ball off the bat of Courier. And Scudo this time a clean play down the line and left, able to fire it back in and hold Courier to a leadoff single. It's the second hit of the game for the Black Knights. paces us here in the bottom of the third. It's the second inning in a row in which Stoughton's been able to get the leadoff man on. And now Zach Paquette, who grounded out to second base his first time up, but first a pickoff check over at first base. Slow delivery on that pickoff play for Perez, more of a check-in. And really trying to keep Courier close, respecting the speed of the Stoughton leadoff hitter. Now fires in and gets a swing and a miss from Paquette. Now again checking in over at first base, and once again George Courier back in with a dive. The regular season did not end as smoothly as Stoughton would have wanted. They ended up losing their final 2 regular season games to King Philip and Austin Prep. But they were able to turn it back on again in that first round playoff matchup, thanks in large part to the tremendous pitching performance of the man at the plate right now, Zach Paquette. Shutout effort. Now big secondary lead for Courier as Paquette takes the pitch outside. Right-handed batter digging right back in now. And a swing and a miss, and Perez able to win the battle. Gets his second strikeout. Courier remains at first base with 1 down, and now the shortstop Robbie Seaman at the plate. Long set for Perez, now delivers the pitch in the dirt. Blocked cleanly by Tyler Almeida. We have not seen Courier attempt to steal as of yet. Perez has been mindful of him. Now takes off as the pitch is grounded back to the mound. Perez will fire to second base, but a poor throw kicks away from Matt Shaver, and everyone's going to be safe. Perez took the chance. Not a good one. Good speed for Courier at first. He had a great jump. There was really very little chance. It would have taken an absolutely perfect throw to get Courier at second base. Perez likely would have been better off firing to first to get the sure out there. Instead, everyone's safe. So it'll be a fielder's choice. And also an E1 to allow that runner to safely get to second. Now a deep fly ball out to left field. Scudo backpedaling, able to make the catch, but Courier tags and is able to advance to third base. Scudo not able to get as much on the throw as he was going back on that ball. So the tying run now at third base, with Seaman remaining at first. After the fly out from Genest, it's now Michael Nazaro who will have the chance to possibly tie this game up. But first, a conference on the pitcher's mound. It's the head coach for the Scarlet Hawks, Alex Dion, out there to talk to his pitcher, also to his infield. Meanwhile, the head coach for the Stoughton Black Knights, Mike Armour, going over a few things with the next batter, Nazaro. And finally, that conference breaks up. It's been some high leverage pitches over these last 2 innings for Colby Perez. After he breezed through the first, had to dance out of that bases loaded jam last inning, and now pitches with the tying run at third. We'll see if Robbie Seaman is on the move here at first base. Not likely to get a throw down to second base in this situation. He does take off as the pitch is down and away, and as expected, no throw from Almeida. So just like that, now 2 in scoring position for the Black Knights, and a 1-ball, no-strike count on Nazaro. Nazaro flew out to left his first time up. Now sends a hard ground ball to shortstop. Bobbled by Shaver, tries to recover and cannot. Everyone's safe, and in from third base to score comes George Courier to tie the game. And some shaky defense through the early innings of this game for Milford. Now their third error. An error in left, an error on the pitcher's mound, and now a costly error at shortstop for Shaver on a routine ground ball that would have gotten them out of the inning. But Shaver had it clank off his glove, and Courier able to score. And now the runner taking off for second base, and Almeida could not get much on the throw. And Nazaro steals his way into scoring position. Seaman holding at third base. And the tide turning in this inning now as Stoughton ties it up, and an opportunity to do more damage with 2 more runners now in scoring position. Kance Rozuski now takes a pitch again in the dirt. And a 2-ball, no-strike count on the left-handed batter. A lot of fans continuing to gather around the field to take in this quarterfinal matchup in the D2 South playoffs. And Kance Rozuski now with a 3-ball, no-strike count. Should he reach, Jacob Kaplan would be the next hitter. And now takes a pitch outside for ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. And another bases-loaded opportunity now presenting itself for the Black Knights. They've already tied the score, a chance now to take the lead. The first pitch into Kaplan is ripped down the left field line. Is that a fair ball? It is indeed, rolling off towards the corner, and damage done as this will clear the bases now for the Black Knights. The throw will come all the way into home plate. And a bases clearing triple for Jacob Kaplan has flipped the script in this game, and the Stoughton Black Knights now able to take a 4-1 lead. Everyone pouring out of the Stoughton dugout in celebration. That one ripped down the line. The only question was whether it would stay fair. Bit of a tricky sight line for us as we're set up down just in front of the third base dugout, but getting the signal that that was a fair ball, and then it was off to the races on the base paths. A gigantic hit in this playoff game for the number 7 hitter. And all of these runs in the inning unearned. And you just think back to the ground ball off the bat of Michael Nazaro that easily could have ended this inning with no run scoring, but Matt Shaver unable to make the play. And a very different look to this game now as the inning finally comes to an end with Noah Johnson popping out to first base, but not before Stoughton hangs a 4 spot on the scoreboard. A run scoring on an error, and then the big 3-run triple for Jacob Kaplan has Stoughton in front of Milford now by a score of 4-1. Stay with us on Milford TV. Danny Corsini leads off the top of the 4th inning as Milford now trails in this game by a score of 4-1, and an opportunity now for James Jeunesse to pitch with the lead. Now 1-ball, 1-strike count. One of the themes that we talked about so frequently with Milford all season long was resiliency, how they were able to bounce back from adverse situations, whether it was a tough loss or even a tough stretch within a game. They would be able to bounce right back. Needing to draw on that in this game here as now Corsini sends a line drive out to right field, but Jacob Kaplan with it sized up, and the Stoughton player had the big hit in the bottom half of the third inning. Kaplan makes the first out here in the fourth. Corsini now 0 for 2, and that will bring up Tyler Almeida. We know this offense can put up a lot of runs in not a lot of time. A 13-run output in their last game that came in the playoffs. But facing off against a very good pitching staff with this Black Knights team. Now the next pitch to Almeida, that's on the outside corner. Looking at some of the stats from the regular season, James Genest with a 1-2 record, had a save on the year, pitched 25 1/3 innings, as now Almeida sends a sky-high pop-up in foul ground behind first base. Conlon able to make the catch. But Genest, 16 strikeouts to just 5 walks and a 1.38 ERA, so very good numbers. Cool breeze starting to roll in here as we get towards the middle innings of this one. Now Nicholas Ouimet lays off on the swing, takes a ball outside. Ouimet flew out to center field his first time up. And now loops a foul ball over the backstop and out of play. Milford certainly with a lot to think about in that sequence from the top to the bottom half of the third inning. Not quite maximizing on that bases loaded chance that they had in the top of the third. Bases loaded, no outs. They settled for just the 1 run. That's so close to getting out of that bottom of the third jam before the error, and then a 3-run triple. But still a lot of game left. Ouimet trying to keep the inning alive with Luke Rosa on deck. The next pitch from Genest, and that's on the outside corner for strike 3. So a shutdown inning from Genest. He sets them down 1-2-3. And that will do it in the top half of the fourth. On to the bottom of the inning we go with the score now Stoughton 4 and Milford 1 here on this coverage of Milford High School athletics in the MIAA tournament right here on Milford TV. Perez out there looking for better results as we reach the bottom half of inning number 4. A 4-1 Stoughton lead as Perez buzzes a strike on the inner edge, facing Brady Conlon. Last time Conlon came to the plate, it was the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Stoughton knocking on the door, but Perez able to get Conlon on a strikeout to end that opportunity. And now takes a called strike 3 at the top of the strike zone, overmatched in that at bat. Striking out for the second straight time. And that brings us back around to the top of the order. George Courier, he got the rally started last inning with a leadoff base hit before some of the questionable defense began to unfold for Milford. As Courier takes that pitch low after Perez had struck out Zach Paquette. Robbie Seaman sending a ground ball back up the middle, where Perez made the decision to try to fire to second to cut down the lead runner, even though Courier had been off on the first move from Perez. And now Courier sending a fly ball out to center field on the move. Marcolini could not get there, has to play it on a hop. Sinking too quickly for even the speedy Marcolini to make a play, and Courier now with his second hit of the game. The winner of this game would move on to the semifinals to play the winner of Hopkinton and Milton. That game taking place as we speak. As Courier takes off for second base, the throw down is a pretty good one, but Courier able to slide in just ahead of the throw. The throw from Almeida one-hopped the bag, and it was just that slight delay in swiping the tag that was the difference. And so Courier in with the stolen base. So certainly intriguing. Obviously Milford staring up at a deficit right now. Were they able to come back in this game and advance to the next round? And if Hopkinton was the team waiting for them, two neighboring rivals, two players with rosters that are full of players that in just a matter of days will be teammates on this year's Milford Legion team. There'll be 5 representatives from Hopkinton High School on this year's Legion team. Matt Shaver here in Milford will also be part of that Legion club. As Pires fires the ball high into Zach Paquette, batting 0 for 2. But if Milford wants to advance to that semifinal round, they've got a lot of work to do. As Paquette takes the pitch down in the dirt, no further advance from Courier, who is at second. A 3-ball, 1-strike count on Paquette at the dish. And it looks like Milford will start to get some activity, loosening now on the sideline. As Pires gets a swing and a miss, it looks like Mario Lee will start to get loose. Weston Solomon also heading out in that area, so perhaps both of them will get some tossing in. Here's the next pitch. Popped up foul behind first base. Ouimet going over as far as he can, right to the edge of the field of play, but they will say he stepped over the line. As that play came right into your television screens. Not sure who had the better chance to make a play on that ball, Nicholas Ouimet or Malcolm Zale manning the camera down the first base line. Ouimet ended up making the catch, but again, stepped over the line that marks the edge of the playing surface. So Paquette will have another chance. Malcolm, a grizzled veteran during these big playoff games, not at all fazed by Ouimet racing over towards him. So now Paquette steps back into the right side batter's box. Again, Courier, the runner at second base. Here's the pitch, and it's driven in the air out to left field. This sends Scudo back, but he's able to catch up to it to make the catch. Courier tags at second base. Now into third, where the throw will not get there in time. Courier continues to be very aggressive on the bases. Works out once again as he's able to tag up and advance to third on that fly out from Paquette. The Stoughton field, like Milford, virtually impossible to hit a ball out of this field. There really are no fences unless you want to go all the way to probably about 600 plus feet to straightaway center field and then wrapping around to right field. The fences that mark the edge of the left field territory are where the softball field begins out there. So there is all kinds of outfield space to roam around here. Much more likely you'll get an inside the park home run than one that goes out. as Perez will now hit his second batter of the game, getting Robbie Seaman off the elbow. And that'll put runners at the corners with 2 outs in this inning. You have to imagine that Perez is on a relatively short leash at this point. Milford not wanting to fall any further behind. No move right now from Coach Dion, so he will leave Perez out there to face James Genest, who singled in his first at-bat in the second inning, then flew out to left field in the last frame. Again, a 4-1 lead for Stoughton here over Milford. Stoughton scoring all 4 of their runs last inning, but an opportunity for more here with 2 on and 2 out. And Genest watches that first pitch drop in. It gets away from Almeida, and in to score comes Courier. And another self-inflicted wound here for the Scarlet Hawks allows Stoughton to take now a 5-1 lead. Seaman goes down to second base. A 1-ball, no strike count on Genest. Now takes a strike. A lot of confidence coming out of this third base dugout right now for the Black Knights, feeling like they have this game pretty well in hand. And now a tapper sent foul over towards the first base dugout. The last time these two teams faced off in the playoffs was back during the 2017 season. A game that was played out right here on this field, and Milford in 9 innings was able to squeak out a 3-2 victory. Now another pitch drops in the dirt, kicks away from Almeida, and Seaman will advance now to third base. Right now it looks to be solely Weston Solomon loosening, I should say, in the warm-up area for the Scarlet Hawks. Perez now ready with another pitch, and it's a grounder sent through the hole on the right side for another base hit. And another run will come home as Seaman crosses the plate to make it a 6-1 Stoughton lead. So Genest with his second hit. And now a chance for Michael Nazaro. Nazaro takes a first pitch strike. The last time Nazaro came to the plate, it was a very different looking game. A 1-0 Milford lead as Nazaro sent that ground ball to shortstop that was booted by Shaver and really changed the direction of this game. Now hits a pop fly over towards shortstop. Another chance for Matt Shaver. And he's able to handle the catch for the out that ends the inning. But 2 more runs come home to score for the Black Knights on the wild pitch. And then the RBI single for Genest. And we will head now to inning number 5 in this playoff matchup with Stoughton leading Milford 6-1. Coverage here on Milford TV. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Stoughton. 1 run, 3 hits, 3 errors for the Scarlet Hawks. As we play into the top half of the 5th inning. And Luke Rosa takes a look at ball 1 low from James Genest, who has a healthy lead to work with. Has pitched well on the day. The only trouble spot for Genest was in that top half of the 3rd inning, in which he allowed a walk and back-to-back bunt base hits. who was able to pitch his way out of it, allowing just one run on a sac fly. He's had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings. And now facing the bottom third of the Milford order. Rosa now sends a ground ball to second base. It hops out of the glove of Courier, recovers, fires to first, doesn't get it there in time. And so there's the first miscue of the day on the Stoughton side. Courier, who's had such a good day at the plate, with the error to allow the leadoff runner to reach. And so now the second at bat of the game for Nick Marcolini, who was one of those back-to-back bunt singles in the third inning. Now pitch in the dirt, held on to by Nazaro. Bullpen activity coming to an end now for Milford, so we'll see if they end up making a move when they head back out for the bottom half of this inning. Marcolini now with a hard shot to third base. It explodes on Paquette, throws across, and gets it there in time. Was able to recover quickly after that ball popped out of his glove to get the out at first base. Down to second, meanwhile, goes Rosa on the play. So the out goes 5-3. And now that'll bring up Justin Appleby. A bunt base hit and a steal back in the third inning for Justin. And meanwhile, a snap throw down to second base as Rosa had a healthy secondary lead, but he's able to make his way back to the bag. Now Appleby takes the pitch up top. We mentioned it, Justin, one of the top averages in the Hawk this season, as he sends a ground ball back to the pitcher's mound, where they will now get Luke Rosa hung up between second and third. The tag now applied, and now Appleby getting hung up around first base. And he will scramble back to the bag. He will get back there safely as Milford avoids another disastrous base running blunder. Already running themselves into a double play earlier in the game. Luke Rosa getting caught in the rundown, and Appleby nearly doing the same, but able to just barely wriggle his way out of it. So Appleby now the lone runner at first base with 2 outs in the inning. And Matt Shaver now takes the pitch high for ball 1. So fielder's choice at the end of the day for Appleby. And Shaver now with a strike to even the count at 1-1. Carter Scudo taking his swings on deck, hoping to have a chance. Now, good-looking pitch at the knees, not called. Maybe a little bit inside. Now Appleby taking off on the first move from Genest, and he's going to get down to second base safely. We saw the same thing out of Appleby the first time he got on the bases. Just went on that very first move. Nearly ran himself into an out on that occasion as well. Was able to get back to first. This time he read it well and able to get into second base on the steal. And Genest now pumping in a called strike two. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Shaver. The windup and the pitch, and Shaver sends it slowly on the ground towards second, charged by Courier. He fires to first base, gets it there in time for the out that retires the side. And Milford does not score in their half of the 5th inning. 4.5 in the books now here from Stoughton High School, where it remains Stoughton 6 and Milford 1 on this playoff coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. Colby Perez's day on the mound is done. Replaced now by Weston Solomon. Perez in 4 innings allowed 5 runs on 5 hits, but only one of those runs, or 2 of those runs, I should say, were earned. A walk and 3 strikeouts for Perez, so now Solomon dealing with the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Stoughton order. Apparently a tradition here at the Stoughton baseball field for the bench players is how quickly can you retrieve the foul balls at the backstop? And I can tell you the answer to that is they can get them pretty quickly. A little bit more leisurely pace here for the on-deck hitter, Jacob Kaplan, who trots out to collect that loose ball. We've seen some intense foot races, entertaining the fans here for the home team as this ball is now popped up behind third base. And that is going to be caught right at the edge of the field of play for Danny Corsini. Ran right out of our point of view, but Corsini able to make the grab. It's the second play we've seen go right to the edge of the playing surface, but this time staying on for Milford to make the catch. And 1 down in the bottom of the 5th, and Kaplan will now stand in. Kian Srzuski out number 1 in the frame. And now it is Kaplan who has the big hit of the day. A 3-run triple in the bottom half of the 3rd inning that broke a 1-1 tie. Stoughton has scored 6 unanswered runs in this game since Milford plated the first to take the lead in the top half of the 3rd inning. And now a foul ball lined off the backstop, and once again, a quick retrieval from the Stoughton bench. And now a tapper sent foul right in the direction of the third base dugout. And there are 2 strikes now on Kaplan. Overall on the day, he's 1 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. And now takes a pitch that bounces in the dirt in front of home plate. 1 out and the base is empty in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Colby Perez pitched a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 1st. That is the only quiet inning in this game for the Stoughton offense. Sent 6 batters to the plate in the 2nd inning and squandered a bases loaded chance, and 4 runs in the 3rd, 2 runs in the 4th. The next pitch from Solomon, that misses high, and he ends up losing Kaplan. A 1-out walk. And that will bring up Noah Johnson, the designated hitter. He's popped out to the pitcher and popped out to first base so far today. Was not in the lineup when these 2 teams met back at the end of April. And so I beg your pardon. Looks like a pinch hitter coming up here for the Black Knights. Noah Johnson lifted. And it is Kevin Dixon, number 15, batting in his place, sends a dribbler in front of the pitcher's mound, and Solomon able to field and throw to get the out. So Kevin Dixon, in his first at bat of the game, ends up grounding out. Jacob Kaplan now at second base with 2 outs in the inning. And Brady Conlon now at the plate. Strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats, both of those against the starter, Colby Perez. This time able to get into one, sends it far down the left field line, but foul. Kaplan a big lead off of second base as Solomon comes to the set. And the righty's pitch is in for a strike. Pitching numbers for Weston Solomon in the regular season: made 5 appearances, all of them out of the bullpen. Does not have a record. In 12 innings pitched, allowed 8 runs, only 4 of them earned on 14 hits. Walked 5, struck out 5. An ERA of 2.33. Now a ground ball hit to shortstop, right into the glove of Shaver. Slings it low to first base, but Ouimet able to dig it out of the dirt for the final out of the inning. And that concludes 5 innings of play now from the baseball field here at Stoughton High School, as we are into the quarterfinal round of the D2 South bracket of the MIAA playoffs. And it's a 6-1 lead for Stoughton over Milford here on Milford TV. Milford down to their final 6 outs in this playoff game. They trail Stoughton by 5 runs. They'll bring their 2, 3, and 4 hitters to the plate, perhaps their last best chance to get themselves back into this game with the combination of Scudo, Perez, and Corsini due up. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. The wind really starting to pick up. We do expect some storms to start to roll in a little bit later on in the evening, hoping to get this game wrapped up before the bad weather arrives. We can start to feel the temperature cooling down, the cloud cover rolling in. Scudo today, a hit in the first inning, a pop out in the third. And now a strikeout here to open up the top half of the 6th. Genest has seemed to be getting stronger as this game has gone along. One out now in the 6th for Colby Perez, who lined into a double play in the first inning, then struck out swinging with 2 runners in scoring position in the top half of the third. And now a check swing, but Perez went around. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The base is empty with 1 down. And a pretty consistent breeze now blowing across the field here in Stoughton as Genest uncorks a wild pitch that eludes the glove of Nazaro. Sails to the backstop, but fear not, that ball immediately reeled in by the Stoughton bench, and then a slide back into the dugout for style points. Perez now with a pop-up out towards second base. Courier has it under control. He makes the grab. Milford has not had a hit in this game since the 3rd inning. And both of the hits they had in that frame were bunts. The only hit that Milford has collected that left the infield was the single by Carter Scudo all the way back in the 1st. Contact has been at a premium against James Genest. He has had very good stuff all game long. Danny Corsini looking to extend this 6th inning, but takes a strike at the knees. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Janess working very quickly and gets an off-balance hack from Corsini. And now 1 strike away from his 3rd 1-2-3 inning of the game. Immediately ready with another pitch. Here it comes. And Corsini takes it just off the outside part of the plate. The Stoughton bench wanted to see the strikeout, but Corsini will live to see another pitch. And it is on the way. And that one is in for a called strike 3. 2 Ks in the inning, both looking for Genest. He now has 4 Ks in the game. And Stoughton now just 3 defensive outs away from advancing on to the semifinal round. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. When we return next, it is still 6-1 Stoughton over Milford here on Milford TV. Top of the order due up for the Black Knights in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Stoughton in control of this game, up 6-1. Weston Solomon back out for a 2nd inning of relief. And falling behind the dangerous bat of George Courier, 2 balls and no strikes. Courier 2 for 3 in the game. Singles in the 3rd and the 4th inning. Both times he reached base, he came around to score. He'll be followed by Zach Paquette and Robbie Seaman. And now Courier taking all the way, takes that pitch for a strike. Now a hard ground ball, that makes its way through the left side of the infield, and George Courier now has his 3rd hit of the game. A runner aboard now for Zach Paquette. It's gone 0 for 3 so far. Solomon will check in on Courier over at first. Long hesitation now for Solomon as this ball is sliced out to right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. To 2nd base goes Courier. He'll hold there. And we should note the defensive changes that took place after the pitching change. Colby Perez remaining in the game, taking over at 2nd base with Justin Appleby moving out to right field. Luke Rosa no longer on the field defensively. And Coach Dion now will take the baseball from Weston Solomon, and from the looks of it, we might see Matt Shaver come on in a relief appearance as he goes to change out gloves in the first base dugout. We will pause for the pitching change. Back-to-back base hits to open up this bottom of the 6th inning, giving Stoughton another potential rally. Already up 6-1. Again, a quick break in the action. More to come in a moment here on Milford TV. So more changes to tell you about just on the heels of our last defensive updates. First, it is Matt Shaver who takes over on the pitcher's mound, the 3rd pitcher utilized by Milford in the game. Trying to keep that runner close at 2nd base. So Colby Perez shifts from 2nd base now to shortstop. Justin Appleby returns to his original position at 2nd base with Weston Solomon staying in the game. He is now out in right field. And Matt Shaver has not gone through with a throw down to 2nd base, but a couple of spins off the pitching rubber to try to keep George Courier close. Both runners the responsibility of Weston Solomon. Did not record an out in this 6th inning. Now finally a pitch into Robbie Seaman, misses for ball 1. Matt Shaver with a called strike. He made 5 relief appearances in the regular season. No record, 12 innings pitched, just 4 earned runs allowed, or excuse me, 3 earned runs allowed in 7 2/3 innings pitched. As I look at the correct line now in the stats. 7 2/3 innings pitched, just 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts, a 2.74 ERA for Shaver. Now a called strike on a borderline pitch. Seaman did not like it. Robbie today a fly out to center field, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 3rd, was hit by a pitch and scored in the 4th. Now a swing and a miss. And he is down by way of the K. So Shaver enters the game. Gets a strikeout, 1 down in the inning now for one of the Stoughton heroes of the day so far, James Genest. 6 innings of 1-run ball on the pitcher's mound. And at the plate, he has gone 2 for 3 with an RBI. Now takes a pitch low and inside for ball 1. Now a fastball sent in the air out to center field. A long run towards right now for Marcolini. He is able to run it down. Courier tags, advances to 3rd. A wide turnaround third base, but he will hold there. Courier aggressive, had eyes on potentially taking 2 bases with how deeply that ball was hit. But eventually gets the stop sign from his head coach. He will hold there. On the fly out from Genest. Zach Paquette remaining at first base, so runners at the corners with 2 down, and now Michael Nazaro will make his 4th plate appearance. Does not have a hit. He's flown out, reached on an error, and popped out. A lot of time taken for Shaver on the mound, and finally timeout granted to the batter. And now they have the runner hung up between first and second base. Shaver freezing, guarding against that runner at 3rd, and that's going to allow Paquette to wriggle his way back to first base. And we have seen some unusual base running in this game all day long. That is the 2nd time we've seen that very play, a runner caught between first and second, eventually getting back, with the team more concerned about the lead runner. You can understand from Milford's perspective not wanting to give up any more runs. They hope to have a chance when they come to the plate in the 7th. More dancing for Paquette at first base, continuing to draw the attention of Shaver. And meanwhile, they are going to call a balk on Matt Shaver, and this is going to allow both runners to advance. So Paquette down to second base, and George Courier a chance to come home. And so in the end, that 7th run does score. Shaver just unable to focus in on the man at the plate. Now sends in a fastball. 7-1 now, Stoughton leads it. And now a tapper hit back to the mound. Shaver with the play and the toss to first base for the out that ends the inning, but Stoughton able to tack on 1 additional run thanks to the balk. And so Milford will head up to the plate in the top of the 7th inning, trailing this game 7-1. Their season down to their final 3 outs. We'll see what Milford can do when they come to the plate in the top of the 7th inning. That is next here on Milford TV. Top of the 7th inning in this Division II South quarterfinal matchup between the 13 seed Scarlet Hawks, the number 5 seed Stoughton Black Knights. A Davenport division rivalry playing out in the playoffs, but this game quickly became a one-sided affair after that 4-run 3rd inning for the Black Knights, turning a 1-run Milford lead into a 4-1 Stoughton lead and now a 7-1 lead. Milford will send Tyler Almeida, Nicholas Ouimet, and likely Weston Solomon up to the plate in the inning against the new pitcher for Stoughton, Evan Jackman. So after 6 innings from the hard-throwing lefty, James Genest, it is Jackman out there. And Tyler Almeida looping a foul ball over the backstop. It's quickly a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Almeida 0 for 2 on the day and takes a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike 3. That's 3 out of the last 4 outs now for Stoughton pitching have been recorded on called strike 3. And that will bring up Nicholas Ouimet, also hitless and 2 at-bats on the day. He struck out looking against James Genest back in the 4th. Now a pitch in the dirt. A 2-ball, no-strike count on Ouimet. It is Solomon out on deck as Jackman gets the fastball past Ouimet to bring the count to 2-1. And now a line drive hit out to left field, sinking quickly, but Kyle Gagnon in to make the play. And it's 2 up and 2 down. And Milford's season now down to its final out, and it will be Weston Solomon who comes to the plate. Solomon takes the first pitch low for ball 1. A lot of big wins for this Milford team this season. Had some ups and downs in the regular season, but at the end of the day did what they needed to do to get into the playoffs. That huge win against Hopedale, sealing their ticket to the postseason. And then an upset win in round 1, but in a tough spot here, down 7-1, down to their final out. The base is empty. And the pitch into Solomon in for a called strike 2, and now the season down to its last strike. And all the senior captain, Nick Marcolini, can do is look on from the on-deck circle as Solomon fights the pitch off foul to stay alive. Jackman back into the windup. Here is the pitch, and that misses inside, bounces in and out of the glove of Nazaro. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count now to Solomon. A payoff pitch, and that is up and in for ball 4. So that denies Jackman the 1-2-3 inning. Keeps the inning alive now for Marcolini. Nick has gone 1 for 2 with a bunt single. And that's going to get a piece of Marcolini. The umpire gesturing that it grazed him right off of the right knee. And so that will put Marcolini aboard at first. It pushes Solomon down to second base. And all Milford can hope to do now is just keep the line moving. Justin Appleby takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Appleby A bunt base hit. Also reached on a fielder's choice. That has been the day. Now takes a pitch low, and he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. So Jackman, after grabbing 2 quick outs, has lost his command a bit here. Here's a 2-0 pitch. And that's high for ball 3. And Michael Nazaro now calling the timeout to talk things over with his pitcher. And a little bit of awkward communication, or lack thereof, I should say, as Jackman was not interested in anything that Michael Nazaro had to say, just took the baseball back and walked away from his battery mate. And now sends a pickoff throw to first base that gets away from Genest. Remained in the game at first base, and this will allow the 2 Milford runners to advance. And so this time, Jackman a little bit more open to the communication with Michael Nazaro after shrugging off his catcher and then sending a wild throw over to first base. 2 in scoring position for Milford with 2 outs. The pitch in to Justin Appleby is low for ball 4. And so from 2 outs and the base is empty, Milford now has the bases loaded. This brings Coach Armour out of the dugout for the Black Knights, as right now Jackman seems to have lost his composure on the mound. It was 1 strike away from ending the ball game, but then ended up losing Solomon. And grazing Marcolini with a pitch. A wild throw to first base, and then a second walk in the inning to Appleby. And Matt Shaver with 1 more at bat on this season. It's been a quiet day for Shaver. He does have the lone Milford RBI. It came on a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. Other than that, Shaver with a pair of groundouts to second base. Takes the first pitch down in the dirt, trickles away from the catcher, but not far enough for Solomon to try and come home. 1 ball and no strikes. Jackman to the set. Here's the pitch. And that one is in for a strike. The home fans trying to implore 1 more out. Now a line drive hit over towards second base, scooped up by Courier. He throws to first base, and that out will end the ball game. So Milford makes it interesting in this top half of the 7th inning, loading the bases with 2 outs, but they cannot score. And that finishes off the day and finishes off this 2019 season for the Scarlet Hawks. They lose here to Stoughton by a final score of 7-1. So unfortunately, some missed opportunities in this game for Milford, some costly errors. And as a result, their season comes to an end. Stoughton, meanwhile, will play on to the semifinal round of this D2 South bracket, where they will play either Hopkinton or Milton. But that will wrap up our coverage for this baseball team. It will also wrap up our coverage for this 2018-19 school year. A successful season all the way around for Milford sports. A lot of great games, a lot of good playoff action, but unfortunately it comes to an end here today. And a big thank you to our crew on hand for this game this afternoon, our director Patrick Garapi and Malcolm Zale, now Milford High School alumni Malcolm Zale, on camera duty for the game here today. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford loses to Stoughton by a score of 7-1. Milford eliminated from the playoffs. And that wraps up the high school sports season for 2018 and 2019. We'll talk to you again in the fall. We'll, of course, have Legion baseball coming up in a couple of weeks to come as well. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.